Hey, and welcome back to another episode of What's Up with This Weather.
Hey.
Meteorologist Tim Boyd here, Jacqueline Ferris as well. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, yeah.
It's super nice outside, aside from the moist air that messed up my hair.
Moist air. I was like, super nice. I'm looking at my computer right now at the live camera.
Think it's nice.
I mean,
I'm sorry, it's not boiling hot. It's not cold.
I do like a rainy, calm
like this
day. Nice. But see, if it's a day like this, I want to be at home in my pajamas, laying on the couch watching TV.
That's true.
So,
I would prefer that, but I can't complain.
Yeah. At least we're not dealing with severe weather right now.
Yes.
We do have a little bit in the forecast, though.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Springtime is...
It's here.
It's here.
Yeah. Meteorological spring has started March 1st. So astronomical spring, I believe, March 20th.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. So we also got time change this weekend.
Ooh.
We're talking about that later. It's going to be a good one, though. It's spring forward. You get an extra hour of sleep.
Okay. I can do that.
It's the good one.
More sleep, I'll take it.
Yeah. Everyone hates the fall one, understandably.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Let's jump into the forecast. We got a bit to talk about, and we're going to start with a live look from our climb-up cam pointing towards downtown, and you can't even see the buildings out there. Like, you can't even see the top of Devon Tower or First Bank. First Bank's got a lower roof there, but yeah, you can see it's quite chilly and dank and gray out there right now. Some light misty showers continuing for many of us. 40s and 50s across the board. 48 in Hinton, 48 in El Reno down towards Minco, and we're looking at low to mid 50s for the rest of us in the viewing area. And compared to this time yesterday, much cooler. Temperatures in the 28 degrees colder than this time yesterday. 27 degrees colder in Altus, 22 in Tulsa, 25 in Clinton. So we're running about 20 to 30 degrees colder than we were this time yesterday, thanks to the northerly breeze that we got and the heavy cloud cover and misty conditions. So temperatures likely only making it up a couple more degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. Pretty much where we should be for this time of year, though. Our average high is 59, and you can see we're going to pretty much be right there where we should be. And as we head through the rest of the evening into the overnight hours, we fall back down into the mid to upper 40s by morning. So going to be another chilly start out there. Should be relatively dry, likely going to be overcast and mostly cloudy skies, but the rest of the day on Thursday not looking too bad until the late evening and overnight, and you'll see that in just a moment here. But a look at some of the measurable rainfall that we got this morning. You can see that was basically northwestern portions of the state, some rainfall out towards Woodward, back towards Alva, Enid, Ponca City. They saw some appreciable rainfall. Now, back towards the metro, you're like, it's been raining all morning. And it's a light mist, drizzly conditions out there. So it's kind of just enough to wet the surface of everything. It's not actual beneficial, measurable rainfall. So only about trace accumulations so far in and around the metro. We need some heavier, more substantial rain. And when you pan out and look at the satellite right now, you can see most of that shower activity has really fallen apart over the last couple of hours for the eastern portion of the state. Heavy cloud cover extends all the way back towards the western counties of the state, towards the Texas Panhandle. Starts clearing out, some sunshine out towards Guymon, out towards Cimarron County. But there's those little light signatures, echoes that you see on the green ones, showing some light drizzly conditions across the metro. We're just seeing that heavy cloud cover, that stratus cloud cover, just lingering across the region right now. So looking at future track through the afternoon, more showers and storms expected to develop to the southeast of us. The further north and the further west you are, not really concerned about rain the rest of the day today. I had a little hiccup there. And as we go through the night, you can see a chance for some severe weather in the southeastern portion of the state, but the rest of us staying nice and dry. But as we head towards tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy to overcast conditions once again. And as we head towards the afternoon hours, boom, you see it. All those storms right there off to our west and southwest start to blow up. So we expect those to move northeast across the viewing area. So the further south that they expand and move off to the northeast, the better chance the OKC Metro has seen some storms. But these look like some potentially significant supercells and eventually coming together. But they could really pack a punch for western parts of the state as we head towards tomorrow in the evening. Looks like OKC right on the edge of that. So still looking at a marginal risk for some severe weather for OKC, right on the slight cusp. You'll see that in just a moment. But those storms continue to move out. It's about 2 a.m. on Friday, and you see those storms moving out of the north central portion of the state. Like I said, starting off in the west and southwest, moving northeast across the state. And by Friday morning, looking at partly cloudy skies across the region. But as we head towards Friday afternoon and evening, our focus pivots from western portions of the state. Thursday and Friday, we pivot to the eastern and central portions of the state for some severe weather, as showers and storms are expected to form along the front. Moist air, dew points in the 60s are expected. And then as we head into Saturday, those things clear out pretty quickly, and we're looking at partly cloudy skies. So today's risk, again, the southeastern portion of the state is where we see most of that severe risk. So not really concerned about that through the metro area. Tomorrow's risk out to our west, you can see that slight yellow color extending through the OKC metro back towards Clinton, Altus, and Woodward. So we have that slight level 2 out of 3, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds, not out of the question if we get one of these strong storms. And tornadoes definitely on the table for western parts of the state tomorrow as well. And then there's that Friday risk, that enhanced risk, so a level 3 out of 5. And that does include the OKC metro and areas east, expecting storms to form somewhere along 35 and then move off to the east through the afternoon and evening with all those high dew points in the area. So watching it closely, all modes of severe weather on the table for Friday as well. So those temperatures today continuing in the 50s, and as we head towards tonight, we drop back down into the upper 40s to lower 50s, and by Thursday afternoon, those temperatures back to the 70s. So I believe we're going to run off for a quick break real quick, and we'll take a look at that 7-day forecast when we get back. All right, welcome back. Now I ran out of time there. I was talking too much. I just talked too much.
But we had so much weather to discuss.
I had so much to talk about, and I like to explain when we have those severe weather graphics. I like to explain them a little bit more in depth because people see that, and they see enhanced and they see high risk, and they're like, "Oh, you're scaring me," and I'm like, "I'm not trying to. I'm just
informing.
I'm informing. Yeah, I'm just passing along the information."
That's right.
But we got that 7-day. I didn't get to the 7-day yet. Okay. So we'll jump back to that real quick. Take a look at that today again, looking at those misty, drizzly conditions, continuing temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, back to around 70 tomorrow. Again, most of the day tomorrow is mostly cloudy skies. And then as we head towards the evening and overnight hours, especially western portions of the state, is where we're concerned for severe weather. Friday is where we're concerned for severe weather in the afternoon and evening hours for central and eastern portions of the state. Your weekend, though, looks like it clears out just in time for your weekend. The weather must be in tune with everyone's 9-to-5 schedule out there, because the weekend looks nice. Temperatures in the upper 50s to 60s on Sunday with mostly sunny skies, so can't really complain. And you're loving this weather.
I am, because to me, it is the perfect weather to leave the windows open. If you like to leave the windows open on your house with the breeze in, if you get real imaginative, you can pretend you live somewhere else.
You can pretend that you can hear the waves in Miami crashing outside.
Or the river in Colorado.
Yeah.
Pick what you like.
Yeah, it's a little dreary, but we need a day like this every once in a while, nice and gray and comfortable. And as you were saying, if you open your windows, if you don't mind the temperatures, upper 50s, low 60s, the good thing about it is the atmosphere is wet, so it's likely not as much pollen in the air. It's not blowing around. So that's another benefit too, is, I didn't have to take my allergy medicine today.
Yes. Oh, and you talked about it last week. It'd be a good time to burp your house.
It would be a good time to burp your house. I might burp my house when I go home.
Good
I'll
idea.
Get you on it.
Good idea.
All right. In the, spirit of severe weather and that chance we have the next couple of days, I discovered, did you know, now not all WFOs, which is Weather Forecast Office, the National Weather Service, they have these offices all over the U.S.
Okay.
I did not know that Norman had this, because not every one of them has it, but they have an archive mapped.
Oh, really?
Also, of every tornado in each county. They break it down by county on a map for you from 1950 to present time.
That's really cool.
I went on the deepest dive the other day, so we're going to share some of that and talk about that. And we're going to look at 5. We obviously can't look at every single county. That's just out of the question. So
it's too many.
Yeah, it's too many.
For a 30-minute show.
Yeah, exactly. So, I would just want to pull it up on a green screen and just go deep into it, But hundreds of tornadoes across the metro since 1950. We have some facts here because I didn't want to give you any wrong information. But most of the counties, and we, again, did the 5 metro counties, average between 1 to 2, on average, a year. In the peak tornado season, obviously, April and May, with most of them, majority of them, especially the destructive ones, happening in May. Most of the really historic ones have been in May.
Mhm.
So reports increased notably after the 1990s, which is not surprising considering two things: radar improvements, and then you also have humans out there. So the more population you have, the better opportunity you have to actually spot these tornadoes. So that anthropogenic factor is definitely a big one when it comes to data anywhere in the
Totally.
meteorology
Yes.
field.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like a lot of tornadoes do go through, I guess, luckily, fingers crossed, through open plains, fields, farmland,
I mean, yeah,
and luckily don't hit structure.
yeah. I mean, considering how vastly empty most of Oklahoma is,
Correct.
I would venture to say most of them do, and unfortunately, we still do have the ones that hit towns and
Yes,
stuff.
it doesn't. I don't want to, I guess, diminish
Yeah.
vast impact when they do hit structures.
And I mean, the majority of the tornadoes in the 5 counties that we're specifically looking at
Mhm.
have all been EF0 or EF1, so they're low end, but there's obviously those really big ones that still happen out there. It's rare that we have the EF4 and the EF5, but they are usually the big historic ones that are lots of fatalities and lots of damage, unfortunately. And we were talking about this off the air. Moore, Norman, and Newcastle corridor,
El Reno,
those 4 are the most repeatedly impacted areas. So
just going through the list we have here, I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Oklahoma County. We'll pull that image up first, and you'll see they've had, since 1950, the official records, 138 tornadoes. So again, that's roughly averages about 2 a year. And you can see those on the map right here. And this is what I'm talking about. They do this for every single county. You can go to the National Weather Service website or just Google Norman National Weather Service Tornado Archive, and you'll be able to pull this up, and you can click it county by county and see all the lines there. So that's the breakdown of that. The most active month, obviously, going to be May for you. We were talking about that. And then the busiest day for this county, I mean, they give you so much data to go over and look at. So you really need a lot of time to just kind of sit through it. But the busiest day for Oklahoma County specifically, no surprise, going to be May 3rd, 1999. 5 tornadoes in one day, the strongest being the F5 from May 3rd, 1999.
Was that El Reno?
I believe that was, is it El Reno's in Canadian County? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's, I believe, the one that went through, was south and then moved up into Canadian County down there in the purple. You see it because that's the only F5 listed up there. So Del City and Midwest City. But it was 37 miles long, a mile wide, and it had 36 fatalities, unfortunately. And the longest track tornado in Canadian County.
Oh, it says, I Googled it. For all our watchers, the 1999 Bridge Creek Moore tornado was
that's what it was.
A large, long-lived, and exceptionally violent F5 tornado, in which the highest tornado wind speed ever measured. Is this true?
It's argued now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's argued since then. But the track of that ended up, as it weakened, moved up into Del City and Midwest City as well. I believe there was a couple of fatalities up there as well.
Yes.
But the longest track tornado for this county was actually April 20th, 1974, and that was 64 miles long. And I'm assuming that's that one right there in the middle, because they don't show you which one it is. But you see how long that thing is? That sucker goes all the way back past Mustang and then all the way up towards Arcadia. That's a long track.
And can you imagine what the TV coverage would have been like if they would have had the technology we have today?
And especially right through, like, pretty much Nichols Hills, and like that's almost right through us too, right off Britton Road there. Yeah, impactful. Canadian County was the second one we did. Again, we did like the little metro. Started with Oklahoma County, went to Canadian, dropped down to Grady, and then went around. So the Canadian County, 113 tornadoes since 1950, so just a few shy of Oklahoma County. Now it's pretty big. Which one do you think is the El Reno tornado.
Man, I don't know.
I don't know. Not the giant orange blob right in the middle right there, right? No, interestingly enough, that's the one that's like super famous, but it's considered EF3. But its active month also May. I believe they're all May because that's when we expect most of our tornadic activity.
Mm-hmm.
The busiest day being also May 3rd, 1999 and May 31st, 2013. So that one was huge too. 63 miles long, mile wide, 9 fatalities. But the four tornadoes that have produced the most fatalities since 1950 were actually in Canadian County.
Okay.
So big one out there. But I guess that's the good news. You were talking about how much open land there is.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see out there, between Calumet and El Reno, and not a whole lot out there. So
yeah,
kind of empty. And then that one moved.
You said the May 24th, 2011 had 9 fatalities.
Yeah, that the strongest one they had, the EF5. That one right there is the pink line that goes north of El Reno and then up into Piedmont. The 2011 one, that one was pretty big as well. So Canadian County.
And those are pretty populous areas. So that would be, very impactful. Even if you didn't personally have a fatality in relation, just the impact that you would feel as a community would be vast.
Absolutely. Any of these big ones that we're talking about. I mean, I can't even imagine. I didn't live here, but the stories that I hear, like you lived here, I'm sure you either knew people or have seen things yourself. But we'll jump to Grady County because I think we're getting close to our time here. But Grady County down to the south, boy, you can see where all those lines start and then just push off to the northeast. So it's like Grady and then over towards McLean and Cleveland is where all those tracks go through. So the Newcastle, Bridge Creek area like that, those are the big ones that everyone's always talking about. But Grady County, interestingly enough, since 1950 has only had 96 tornadoes, which is roughly just over 1 on average a year. Peak season, just take a guess.
May.
April? How did you know that? April and May. Yep, May definitely, but April and May. Busiest day, May 3rd, 1999.
It was a big day.
That was a big day, obviously, because I believe if you go to McLean, busiest day. Oh, no. McLean was April 19th, 2023. I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Are you up for a quick break, Tim? And when we come back, I think we have time to dive into McLean and Cleveland after the break.
Yeah, we'll zoom right through it.
Okay, let's take a break.
All right, welcome back. I am talking too much, I was told. Just kidding. She did not say that. All right. We're going to push right back into our coverage here so we can take a look at McLean County now. Jumping on to our east. 85 tornadoes since 1950, roughly 1 a year. Busiest day, April 19th, 2023. Interesting. That was only a few years ago. And the strongest tornado, the EF5 from May 20th, 2013, which you said you had some facts for.
I do. Many Oklahomans and people across the nation will remember this one because, unfortunately, it went through a very populated area of Moore, Oklahoma, just south of the station here. I'd say, 13 minutes?
Yeah, about 13 to 15 minutes likely, yeah.
But it hit 2 elementary schools, Plaza Towers Elementary and Briarwood Elementary, during the school day. And unfortunately, 7 students passed away in that tornado. And I remember watching this come through, watching the live coverage, watching News 4 cover it. And, you will not forget. I actually had a coworker, we were watching it together, and he was on the phone with his wife, and we watched his house get blown away.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, so many people were impacted.
So devastating. They're devastating years. As it is, especially when they move through a big metro area like that. But to hit 2 elementary schools, that is so sad. Now, the widest tornado that they've had there is 1,900 yards wide, and that was in 2013, May 20th.
Yeah,
so
May 20th.
That was the EF5 that we were talking about. Now, over to Cleveland County, they've had 111 tornadoes since 1950, so they average roughly 1.5 to 2 a year. And look at Moore. Goodness gracious. It is like a bullseye
I mean,
for all of them.
something tells. I don't know. I really have no idea, but I would think homeowners insurance would cost a little bit more in that area.
Just to live in more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but
I'm not sure either. But I mean, even
you hope you have a storm shelter.
Oh, absolutely. If you're going to buy a house in Moore, you got to have a storm shelter in
Yes.
place. But I mean, even like the county, that's the county with the most pink lines through, and you see the reds and the oranges. Like they're not just EF zeros and EF ones. These are
Right.
strong,
These are
impactful tornadoes moving through the area. So they peak season, obviously April to May for all the counties out there. But the strongest tornado for them was also 2013, May 20th. Unfortunately, 24 fatalities out of that one. And then the May 3rd, 1999 one, 36 fatalities out of that one. So just devastating tornadoes for that area moving through that region. Now, the longest track tornado through that county, through Cleveland County, was 102 miles, and that was in 1960. That was May 5th, 1960.
Oh, another time when, technology was just absolutely not where it is today.
No,
they were truly, I just think weather coverage back then was just truly remarkable because it was handmade graphics being held up.
Yeah.
It was not at all what we know today of radars and
oh no, the early day meteorologists had it so bad.
Or they really had to be on their toes and be brilliant.
Yeah, they absolutely were brilliant. I would have loved to meet a few of them, but multiple EF4 and EF5s that have impacted that Moore-Norman corridor there. So
absolutely,
very, very impactful across the region. Now, moving on from the tornadoes, and I guess we'll briefly touch on more severe weather stuff related because we have the Severe Weather Awareness Expo this weekend. Are you going
Square Mall?
At Penn Square Mall. Yeah, 11 a.m. I believe it's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I'm going to bring my kiddo, come through, maybe get some autographs. He's a big fan of all the meteorologists and storm chasers.
Yeah.
Celebrities.
Bring them on through. We meet a whole bunch of really interesting people. Lots of people you'd be surprised how much these people know. That was one of the things I was astounded at when I first moved here, was the fact that so many people knew so much about the weather. And not just like a little bit of it. Like there were some kids who they know. Like I could be like, hey, how does a thunderstorm get produced? And they were giving me like scientific explanations.
That's
and I
really
was
cool.
like, how do you know this? I learned what you're saying in college.
In a senior level class.
Yeah. But I mean, I got YouTube. YouTube's a powerful force out there. So, but we also have another fun thing this weekend. And you're excited. You're not excited about it. Time change.
I am excited. I am excited. If you're telling me I'm going to get more sleep,
it's
because I don't
forward.
mind the darkness. So.
Everyone loves spring forward.
Okay.
So you get an extra hour of sleep. So Saturday night at 2 a.m. Well, I guess technically Sunday morning.
Okay.
At 2 a.m. we'll roll back to 1.
Sounds good to me. Sign me up for that. And the Weather Expo.
Yeah.
Weather Awareness Expo.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Going to be a good weekend for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so I think that almost wraps us up.
I think we are out of time, Tim.
Yeah.
I think we are out of time, but we will be back next week at 1:30 on Wednesday.
Aaron will be.
Yes. Aaron will be back for another episode of What's Up with This Weather.
Yes.